Gary Waters has re-energized the Scarlet Knights basketball program with back-to-back home wins over ranked opponents. With 7 games left in the regular season, Rutgers is pushing towards a possible NCAA tournament bid. The Scarlet Knights hope to turn back rival St. Peter's of Jersey City next. From Lewis Brown Athletic Center in Piscataway, New Jersey. It's Big East basketball on a Monday night. Tonight, the St. Peter's Peacocks and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights for the 9th meeting in school history between these two. And hi, everybody. Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano. This Rutgers team, Bob, won 4 of 6 in conference lately. Had an 8-game out-of-conference winning streak earlier. They're knocking on the door for an NCAA bid.
Well, certainly that 8-game out-of-conference streak wasn't intention getting. What really got people's attention is this Big East run of late. You want to play your best in February and March. This team is doing it. Maybe they're sending the signal that they've got the corner turned.
Yeah, back-to-back upsets over ranked opponents, Connecticut and Syracuse, led by this man, Jerome Coleman.
Well, watch the good jump stop and then the strong finish against Syracuse. But here's the one. Look at the confidence off the offensive rebound. Step back behind the arc, make the 3. When you get an offensive presence like that, playing with that kind of feel and that kind of confidence, carries over to everybody else on the team, Mike.
He's a New York kid that was a second-team All-American on the junior college level last year, Jerome Coleman. As for St. Peter's Peacocks, they're from Jersey City, about 30-40 miles north. They'd love to spring an upset tonight. Started the season 2-17, but they've won 2 of their last 3, both on the road.
Well, Nate Brown has stepped up for them, which is one of the reasons they're playing better. He's the only guy on this roster who started all 22 games. But when you talk about the effectiveness of this team, you got to talk about Corey and John. He's the guy who gets them going. He's averaging about 8 rebounds a game, a big factor on the offensive glass. You see the stick back there, but then look at the good take to the basket going to his left. When you get a big guy who can rebound like that and put it to the floor, gives you a lot of offensive versatility, and believe me, Mike, they'll need every bit of it tonight on the road.
Corin John leads St. Peter's 14 points a game. He's out of nearby Erasmus Hall in Brooklyn. He'll try to lead St. Peter's to an upset here tonight at the Rack. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the opening tip in just a moment. You're watching Big East basketball.
College basketball glory returns to Philadelphia.
Back at the Rack, we're ready for Rutgers and St. Peter's on a Monday night. Gary Waters in his first year at the head of the Scarlet Knights program, 11-1 at the Rack, 14-8 overall. Great program builder at Kent State. And there's Bob Leckie, a member of the Hall of Fame at St. Peter's, one of the great players in their program back in the late 60s. Now in his 2nd season at St. Peter's, struggling to get the program back to where it once was. And the starting lineups: Robinson, McQueen, Thompson, Brown, Devonish, Shields, Rashad Kent, Eugene Dabney, Mike Sherrod, Jerome Coleman for Rutgers. And 2 big men that will be battling in the middle, Bob. Kareem Wright going against Kamal McQueen. You got 320 pounds going against 285. There's going to be a battle in the middle. A series 7-1. Rutgers, the 9th meeting. Last time they met 96, a 2-point win. Dennis Conley, Robert Adams, John Hughes are our officials tonight. We're just underway. St. Peter's wins the opening tap. And Rutgers starts out on a man-to-man. Gary Waters has this team playing some great defense. Part of the reason they've gotten off to a good start in his first year. Tough shot, didn't catch anything. Rebound no good by McQueen. Chased down by Kent, and he saves it off McQueen's knee.
Well, Rutgers is an effective rebounding team. They're dead even in rebounds per game, and of course that's in a very physical conference in the Big East. One would think they'd have an advantage here, but St. Peter's does go to the offensive glass well. That is the one thing that they've shown, actually a disproportionate number of offensive rebounds. So had a chance there, couldn't get it to go.
Rashad Kent, the Big East Conference leading rebounder at 10 a game. Now on the drive, there's Jerome Coleman, and whistled for the first foul, Regis Devonish, the sophomore from Houston, Texas. And Rutgers will inbound it. The Rack has been very good to the Scarlet Knights this year, 11-1 at home, as I mentioned. And with 7 games remaining, they've got a good chance, if they finish strong, to go to an NCAA tournament. That has not happened here in over a decade. Kent had the ball stolen for the moment by Kamal McQueen, the 320-pound center I was talking about out of Christ the King in Queens.
He's hard to miss out there, Michael.
Yes, he is. Mike Sherrod hands it to Coleman. Now they go to Eugene Dabney. Power move inside by Dabney, off target, rebounded by Rashad Kent in traffic, and Kent draws a foul. Rashad Kent will go to the line to shoot 2.
Just a good strong move inside, off balance a bit. They might have bailed him out just a little bit. You look, he's kind of leaning, and it's only coming across and helping. Robinson jumps in and gets the foul. The big guy did what you want your big man to do, hands straight up, don't foul. But coming across, Robinson must have thought he needed some help in there, but as I said, might have been a bit of a bailout because it was a difficult off-balance shot. And this is certainly not Kent's forte by any stretch of the imagination from the free throw line.
36%. He's gotten there an awful lot, too. 150 times after that miss. This one's an air ball.
That's
so 0 for 2 by Rashad Kent to start the game.
And when you're not shooting well from the free throw line, that's the last thing you want to be, is embarrassed with an air ball. It's going to make it doubly hard the rest of the way. Rutgers extends their defense a little bit, looking to try and create a trap. St. Peter's almost goes through it, but no.
There's a steal by the Scarlet Knights. Now Sherrod. And it's retaken by St. Peter's ahead of the field on the run. And a block that time, and a nice play made down there by Ricky Shields.
He saved a layup. Looked like a sure run out.
3-pointer from Jerome Coleman. Coleman has been outstanding from behind the arc, and now another steal.
Well, that has been the nemesis for St. Peter's. They turn the ball over not only frequently, but they are making a lot more turnovers than they create each game. And put that together with Rutgers, who takes care of the ball fairly well. That's a bad omen for the visitors.
Sherrod driving hard to Coleman on the sideline. Dabney, Eugene, lost the ball on the way up. So St. Peter's has it back. Melvin Robinson hands it to Nate Brown, who goes down the baseline to Kamal McQueen, who drew the foul.
One of the problems you have if you're Gary Waters, you're trying to build a program. Every game is so huge. You mentioned it, Mike. They're trying to establish the fact that this is a tough place to play. See the good baseline drive. He gets the step. Might have bumped him originally, and then the good up fake that forces Kent to go up and foul. See it again. A good bounce pass. A little slow on the rotation on the weak side. So Kent has the tough job of stopping the ball and then rotating back to the receiver to try and stop the layup. You see the first free throw go down by the big fella. But Mike, you touched on it. I know you did the Syracuse game here. This is a place that has been rocking and rolling of late. It's a little different atmosphere in tonight, and Gary Waters has got that fine line. You don't want to over drill it in your guys' heads that, hey, we got to be ready, we got to be ready. But by the same token, they have to be ready, because we've seen how many upsets this year that defied logic. This is one that Rutgers cannot afford early to give St. Peter some confidence.
Well, there is a chance for a letdown when you play games here against Syracuse and Connecticut back-to-back and upset them. And you have a non-conference foe. St. Peter's not having a good year at all, 4-18. But again, they've won 2 of their last 3 on the road. At Iona, at Canisius. Here they are on the fast break. Taken away. Got it back and got it to roll in. That was Devon Thompson, JC transfer out of the Bronx.
Well, Rutgers has turned the ball over quite a number of times. That's a bad sign. It's a 3rd turnover, and they've had given up a lot of deflections. They've got to get more focused offensively.
Sherrod hands it back to Jerome Coleman. Now down low to Kent. Kick back to Sherrod. Can't get it off, and now Coleman. St. Peter's doing a nice job on their individual defense, and Kent nearly lost it. Stepping inside the arc, and Ricky Shields has a bucket, his first of the game, and a 5-3 Rutgers lead.
Well, if turnovers have been St. Peter's Achilles heel, defensive field goal percentage has not been very good either. Good block there, and you're seeing it early. They're giving up a lot of easy shots.
Thompson went up and couldn't dunk it. Devon Thompson ended up on the rim, but not on the basket, and back the other way. The hard drive by Jerome Coleman will put him on the line for 2. Now you tell your guys, dunk it if you're that close, but you got to be able to get over the rim.
Yeah, that's why I say 2 fouls on Devonish, by the way, early here. Look, he's wide open in there, and just I'm not sure what happens there. Rutgers conceded it. Nobody tried to contest it, and that is opportunities lost that St. Peter's can ill afford. As we mentioned, Rutgers, the 2 areas they have the biggest advantage are comparing their shooting percentage with St. Peter's, especially when you do it relative offense and defense, and turnovers. Rutgers makes less turnovers than they create. St. Peter's, as we talked about, just the opposite. In fact, there's about a 5 or 6 turnover game difference when you compare the two teams. So that's where you got to look for early in the game. St. Peter's has to shoot well, can't turn the ball over, and right now they're struggling a bit in those areas.
Jerome Coleman's 2 free throws gives Rutgers a 7-3 lead. Here's John, hard drive to the basket. He missed. Had his man beat, but couldn't get it to go down.
Missing a lot of easy ones inside.
Stepping into the interception by Melvin Robinson. Robinson, a Cardozo product out of Queens. A junior. There's Gary Waters, 14-8, 5-5 in the Big East Conference. And I think overachieving as you look at this Rutgers team, and that's going to be an offensive foul as Herb Lamazana went hard to the basket, but
my goodness,
committed the offensive.
Couldn't believe he kept going. Watch how long the defender's there, and he's hard to miss, the big fella. It's not exactly a sight that you're going to have a hard time picking up in the middle of the lane. It's like a small building in there.
Kamal McQueen again weighs 320.
He got there quickly. He moved his feet.
Brown angles a shot up, and he got the roll. Melvin Robinson, rather.
Strange game. That may have been the worst of the 7 field goal attempts they've tried. That one went in. Makes them 2 of 7 from the field.
7-5, the Scarlet Knights. Drop it down low to Kent. Coleman gets it back. Tried to pick and roll, wasn't there. Now Kent kicks it back out. And Sherrod had it nearly stolen by Melvin Robinson. There's a timeout on the court. 15:32 left in the first half. Rutgers by 2 over St. Peter's.
Hungry.
Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano at Rutgers tonight for St. Peter's, and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers early on a 7-5 lead for Rutgers. We were talking about St. Peter's of late, Bob. They've been hot, if you could believe it. They've won 2 of 3. That man, Nate Brown, matter of fact, who came out of Monroe College in the Bronx, really got it going against Niagara, even though they lost that game, but he led them to a win at Iona and Canisius.
Yeah, he does a little bit, if you will. He's not spectacular in anything. He only shoots about 28% from the three-point line, 36% from the field, but he leads the team in assists, he leads them in steals, and he's capable of big scoring games, as we saw last game with 20.
Sherrod with a hard drive, and the floater goes in.
That was
Mike
a nice
Sherrod's
take.
first bucket.
Good strong take there. We'll see if maybe in that timeout Rutgers decide to get a little bit more focused. They've looked like, frankly, Mike, they've been a little bit out of sync in the first part of this game.
Well, you could, I don't want to excuse them, but you know, you have the emotional wins they've had of late. Then they went to Notre Dame and got hammered on the road. So sometimes you don't know where you are as a team after a game like that.
Absolutely. It's not an easy thing to do. And as I said, it may sound strange, but it's one of the hardest decisions a coach has. You put too much emphasis on a game like this, it sounds silly, in fact, lose credibility and make it more of a pressure situation. But if you don't, you come out and play sloppy, it's kind of hard to turn it on halfway. So it's very difficult walking that fine line.
Nate Brown got it down to McQueen. He's blocked by Lamazana, but the outlet intercepted by Nate Brown.
Those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. It's just kind of a lot of the turnovers have been careless decisions.
Corin John gets stripped. Here's Jerome Coleman being chased, deals it to Sherrod. The layup is good.
Oh, that's what you like to see. Keep it simple, and he does a great job of that, Coleman. We talk about his scoring, but look at his passing decisions. Bounce passes when it should be. Right hand, left hand. Makes good decisions passing the basketball.
Here's McQueen, wants to go down on a shot. Kent throws up an air ball, rebounded and missed twice. Now the tip missed.
And they've had their chances.
Devon Thompson had an excellent opportunity, couldn't get it to go down. So Kamal McQueen, who's trying to low post work on Rashad Kent, hasn't had it happening yet.
Oh, that's a push, yeah.
And Lamazana called for a foul.
Short of sending out invitations to the officials to call that one, that was about as easy a call as they'll have to make.
And a substitution, Lamazana will sit down. He has 2 fouls, and Sean Aksani comes in, 6'7" sophomore. Aksani's a left-hander. Did some good work in the Jersey Shore League over the summer and got himself the most improved player in that league. Now in his 2nd year at Rutgers. Nate Brown, long-range 3, in and out, rebounded by Kent.
Did a nice job to get himself free off the screen by the big fella McQueen.
Ricky Shields from behind the arc. That rolls in and out. Kamal McQueen had the rebound, lost it. Aksani gets it back. And now Rutgers with an opportunity. Here's Jerome. Coleman knocks it down.
He's just giving him a solid game. Coleman has come out very workmanlike, which is really what you need in a game like this. Just get the job done. He has.
8 points for Jerome Coleman and a 14-5 Rutgers lead. St. Peter's came in shooting 42% from the field. They're having their troubles. Another turnover. It's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Shields to Coleman. Shot blocked, and John came up with it. And out of traffic, he finally has the outlet. Nate Brown hands it to Melvin Robinson. His shot back rimmed. Rebounded by Jerome Coleman. Mike Sherrod handles it.
Mike, St. Peter's missing so many easy shots inside and accentuating that by the number of turnovers. Really almost impossible pressure being put on with the defensive end. And if you give that guy that kind of look, and it's going to be a quick timeout by Bob Leckie with good reason. Jerome Coleman has got 11 quick points, and with the kind of offensive performance St. Peter's has had, they can't afford to play defense like that, Michael. They'll be for a long evening. Jerome
Coleman with 3 threes in the opening 7.5 minutes for Gary Waters, just continuing the way he's been playing of late. Coleman has now made 68 threes for Rutgers this year. That's a team high. And I don't know when the season began that Gary Waters expected that kind of outside performance from Jerome Coleman.
That's a good point. I know they had high aspirations for what a difference he would make with this team, but I don't know that they thought he would shoot it at that proficiency. Take a look at the run here. There's this good. That was the one right out of the timeout. The good aggressive drive by Sherrod. That kind of set the tone. Then off the turnover, and this is what I like. Nice and simple. Two-hand bounce pass. No reason to make anything tricky or difficult there. Coleman with a good bounce pass, and then here he comes off the screen, and he's so wide open. He could have shot that one underhanded. You can't give him that. And all of a sudden, Rutgers has a 12-point lead.
And they come with pressure. Kamal McQueen handling on the baseline. They beat the pressure. To Corian John, his fadeaway, lost his balance, and Sean Axani came up with it. They had the pressure beaten, but they could not capitalize.
They've had the ball inside, Mike, about 8 times and come up with not a point.
17-5, 12 minutes remaining. Axani on a nice entry pass, banks it home. Sean Axani's first bucket of the night. 19-5. Rutgers by 14. Corian John has the press beaten. Cross court it goes. Now they'll try to set it up. Nate Brown is going to shoot it from way downtown. Front rimmed, and Axani had the rebound. Nice tip to Rashad Kent. But the rebound taken down by Amir Ali, who's just entered the game. He's a 6'11" sophomore out of Birmingham, England. But St. Pete's offense is completely sputtered.
And it's got to be frustrating. Nice pass there.
Corian John got his shot blocked.
They just keep doing that, though. If you're Bob Leckie, the ball's going where you want it and coming up empty.
Rashad Kent tried to reverse it. Axani got it, and then he lost it. But credit the work of Jason McCoy for the rejection. Rutgers leading 19-5. 11:04 left in the first. 12-0 run by Rutgers, a 19-5 lead, 11:04 left in the half. Third member of our broadcast crew joins us now, Mick Monenhoff. Mike.
All right, thanks very much, Mike. You know, Coleman lighting it up here in the first half. He's on the bench right now, but 20 in the second half against Syracuse, 18 in the second half recently against UConn. He's usually a second half scorer. He seems to have the scoring shoes on in the first half as he's lighting it up here tonight.
Thanks, Mick. Yeah, Jerome Coleman, the other night against Syracuse in this building, was shooting the ball from beyond the NBA arc. That got the roof almost taken off the building because Rutgers was about to pull an upset back-to-back, and Jerome Coleman really was the guy that orchestrated it.
Look at the field goal shooting. St. Peter's and 2 of 13, and they've made 5 turnovers, Mike. You put that combination together, it's not hard to find out why they've only got 5 points and are in deep trouble early here.
Trying to work the perimeter against some tough man-to-man defense. Off-balance shot and a foul called And that time Regis Devonish was able to draw some contact, and he'll get an opportunity at the free throw line.
You know, disappointing for Gary Waters because his team played terrific defense. That foul happened when there were 2 seconds on the shot clock. So they played the good full court pressure, didn't get beat, fell back on defense, and then a bailout foul. Guy going left, shooting out off balance. That's the one you want to give him your blessing on. You certainly don't want to touch him.
Regis Devonish came from Houston, Texas. He was a high school teammate with Rashard Lewis, who's enjoying a terrific pro career with Seattle.
No, to follow up on what Mick's talking about, though, it really carries over to your whole team when you got one guy who you feel is not only playing at that level, but doing it against the best teams on your schedule. It just elevates everybody's game. It really does. And frankly, that's one of the problems St. Peter's has right now. Nobody has been able to make a shot for them where everybody can kind of jump on that guy's back.
And you certainly need that when you come into an opponent's building where it's very difficult to win. You need somebody to kind of elevate the confidence of your team. That has not happened. This St. Peter's program has suffered through 2 tough years in a row. Nice dish down low, and the layup by Eugene Dabney.
Well, St. Peter's went zone that time. Made a little sense because they have had a hard time stopping Rutgers, but you still got to get ball pressure. You can't just allow the man with the ball to face the goal and have you react to him. And once he got in the seam, made a good dish for the layup.
Corey Hinnant, where's number 10? He's checked into the game for St. Peter's. Jamal McQueen bangs his way in and literally runs over Eugene Dabney. That's McQueen's first and the 4th on the team.
Well, it's the 2 back through the 4 hole here, and nothing there. No gain.
It's a big man, 320. But St. Peter's lost a couple of recruits very late in the game. That really hurt them this year. Here's Axani just inside the arc. Back rims it. Rebounded. Turnaround. McCoy. What a shot.
Nice touch.
Jason McCoy's got his first basket.
Well, Rutgers has gotten more active, and Gary Waters has to like that. They've gotten down to business, and I think, again, you got to credit Jerome Coleman. He set the tone. He was all work, very workmanlike to start, and his teammates have followed suit.
Cutter, Corey and John rejected. Nice block by Eugene Dabney, and here's Axani running the court, and he will flush it for an easy 2.
One of the things St. Peter's going to have to do, since this Rutgers team is more athletic, is throw it in, throw it back out. They throw it in there, and whoever gets it is forcing it up sometimes, getting it blocked, shooting it off balance. They've got to go in and out. An 18-1 run now by the Scarlet Knights.
Brown's 3-pointer off target, kept alive. Nice hustle. Kamal McQueen down low, and he got the layup to go.
A good hustle play to save that rebound in bounds.
Ricky Shields with it. Rutgers playing their last non-conference game of the year.
Peters traps out of the zone, almost got something that time.
Shields,
they do.
Try to bounce it on the baseline. It's a 2-on-1 opportunity. Nate Brown hustles, he hands it off. Bank shot goes in as Corey Hinnant has his first basket.
Nice pass by Brown. As we said, he does a lot of little things well. This is a 2-3 zone where St. Peter's looks like they're willing to trap in different spots. That time they tried to trap in the middle of the floor, and that's tough. That's the result, Mike.
Ricky Shields drills a 3-pointer, and they had a man open on the baseline as well. He had an opportunity if he wanted to go down there.
That's a very difficult place to trap in the middle of the floor. Once they break that double team, you're playing 4-on-3 in the back, sometimes 4-on-2 in the back.
4 3-pointers by Rutgers and a 28-10 lead. Here's Kamal McQueen. Power move over Axani. Missed everything.
So you got to throw that one out and then get it back inside.
On the fast break and thrown away that time by Joel Wiggin, another freshman who's entered the game for Gary Waters. There's a timeout on the court. Rutgers 28, St. Peter's 10.
Wire.
Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano at Rutgers, a 28-10 lead over St. Peter's. Let's take a look now at the Hyundai game summary. Rutgers has shot the ball well thus far, led by Jerome Coleman. Meanwhile, St. Peter's, I don't know, there's a lid on it seems like. They're 4 of 20.
Well, they have, you pointed it out. How many times have they gotten the ball? Of those 16 missed shots, there must be 8 or 9 of them within 5 feet of the goal. But because of that, I think you got to make an adjustment, throw it in, throw it back out. This has been the 2 areas St. Peter's had a problem. Comparative field goal percentage, and obviously offensively and their opposition, and turnovers. And right now, Rutgers has turned it over a bit as well, but when you got that kind of a discrepancy shooting the ball, Mike, very, very difficult to make that up.
Nate Brown found a man underneath, and Thompson couldn't handle it. That's pretty much the way it has been going.
Yeah, right pass, right place, good read, and they get nothing out of it.
We're at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center in Piscataway, New Jersey. One of the great places in all of college basketball. Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano, Vic Monenhoff. On a Monday night, not a lot going on around the world of sports, the Olympics, of course, but there's college basketball tonight in New Jersey. There's Coleman. He'll shoot it from out there, and that was an attempted slam from way outside the range. Running with it, Robinson pulls up, knocks it down. So Melvin Robinson has got 4. It's 28-12.
Well, Bob Lecky's decided, obviously, he's building. He wants these guys against one of the better teams they'll face. And it's much too easy there to just
Eugene Dabney.
Just try and run and hopefully build, get experience, but he certainly can't be pleased with that. It's much too easy. Somebody missed an assignment.
On the baseline, good strong drive. And he got it to go. That was Devon Thompson. Beat his man, then used the basket to ward his man off, and he got the basket.
You got it right, Mike. He takes him all the way under. Good fake, just gets him off balance a bit. That's just enough to get Lamazana his 3rd personal foul. And then shoots the difficult one. Actually didn't put it over to his left hand. Shot it with his right hand back over his right shoulder. Not an easy shot, but got it with a chance for the 3-point play.
So Bob Lecky's team down by 16 early. Gary Waters have built a great program at Kent State. Now here at Rutgers trying to do what hasn't been done in a while.
And he's off to a good start. He's got not only on the results on the floor, but the people in the know, gone to his practices, watched how he's handling this team. Very impressed.
They come at you hard. They play hard on defense. And there's a block right there. Picked up. Baseline jump, air ball. Rebound by Rutgers, and Dabney goes hard to the basket. Another air ball. Here comes St. Peter's. They've got numbers, 3-on-1. Bounce to Robinson, missed the shot. Rebounded. Thompson miss. And again, St. Peter's cannot convert a golden opportunity.
Great hustle play. Thompson way up high for the rebound, but another miss. Literally 2-footer. I think probably 8 or 9 missed 2-footers.
Another turnover. Dabney dribbled it off his foot.
8 Rutgers turnovers. St. Peter's, as we said, one of their big problems is the turnover differential. They're not having that problem tonight.
That shot misses from 3-point range. Kamal McQueen ran it down.
But they're having a problem shooting it, though, and that's really the whole story of the game.
And Jerome Coleman nearly picked Corey Hinnan's pocket. Shot clock ran a few seconds off, and there's Bob Lecky. Had to be encouraged of the recent efforts of his team at Iona. They beat Jeff Rulin and company. Then they won at Canisius. And toward the end of a season, if you're not having a great year, to win on the road is helpful, not only for the team's confidence, but the coach's confidence.
Oh, absolutely. No question. I think Gary Waters cheering for his team on the other bench with good reason. A game like this, you're really focusing on what kind of defensive effort are you getting. And they are creating some turnovers, getting a hand on a lot of passes. That was
in the lane, Devon Thompson knocks it down.
That was one of the best possessions St. Peter's had. Off the sideline inbound, set play. Bob Lecky up cheering for his team. That was the first time they've really executed something the way they've wanted to. Got the result they wanted. A good finish at the end.
Devon Thompson's got 7. Sherrod, hard drive, banks it home.
Well, they went to that zone again, but you got to stop the ball. There isn't a defense been invented that'll work if you don't stop the basketball.
Starts out on the perimeter. Right now, St. Peter's getting beat on the perimeter defensively. Regis Devonish doing a lot of ball handling, and he drew a foul. Going to be on Jerome Coleman. Coleman's first. Second foul for Jerome Coleman, a correction.
Rutgers already over the limit here. I say, well, it's not already. It's not particularly early. We're under 5 minutes and a half, but St. Peter's only has 4 team fouls.
And so St. Peter's a chance on the line. And they've got the first one. That's Regis Devonish. 2 points for him. He averages 8 a game. Had a good night at Niagara. In the loss there by St. Peter's. The 93-70 loss. So 2 free throws for Devonish.
Only shooting 53% from the line, but you wouldn't know from those two. Those were nothing but cotton or nylon. What do they make the nets?
You know what? I think it's nylon.
I think it is nylon.
Used to be cotton. They'd wear out so fast. Of course, where you played, it was all the metal.
Chain, exactly.
The chain.
If we had nets at all.
See, now that's discouraging. You don't have nets. It doesn't feel the same when you knock it down,
but
right?
I'll tell you, until I got into school and I started playing rooms with nets, it took me about 2 weeks to adjust. I didn't know how to shoot at baskets with a net.
Axani stepping in, trying to grab an offensive rebound, and St. Peter's just not quick enough to the ball. I don't know how Axani got loose in there, but he did. And that's a foul, and it's going to be a shooting foul.
St. Peter's has settled in the last couple of minutes to play a little bit more respectfully, largely because they're converting shots. They made some shots. Both teams have turned it over quite a bit. I know Gary Waters can't be happy about that, but his defensive effort, he's got a bunch of blocked shots and a bunch of deflections. But and they've been very selfish offensively, Rutgers. They passed the ball well.
Rutgers not a good free throw shooting team at 62%, but a lot of that is Rashad Kent, who shoots just 36%. He always gets to the line. Three-pointer front rim that time from Devonish, and here come the Scarlet Knights. Coleman lost it. It was nearly stolen by Nate Brown, and the fans here at the rack don't agree with it, but that's the call.
Tough call because Nate might have bumped. Here's the pass. Watch, he might just bump him enough on the arm so that it winds up flinging Coleman's arm forward, knocking it out of bounds. But that's a tough call for an official to call that one.
On the other end, Sean Axani is called for a foul. That's his first. And that one got Gary Waters off the bench because he was saying, why? Well, we got a guy there to block his shot.
That's true.
And so St. Peter's another opportunity from the line to climb back in, and they get a bounce. Melvin Robinson's got his first free throw, 5 points.
Knowing how coaches think, I mean, clearly Rutgers is in control here, but I think Gary Waters did like a good run here. One more spurt before the half in these last 4:17 to kind of send a message that this one's over and go in the locker room and maybe work on some things in the second half. But right now, St. Peter's hanging around at 12, and Rutgers got to get back to that offensive efficiency they had a little bit earlier.
6 points for Melvin Robinson.
Against that 2-3 zone again.
Jerome Coleman will shoot from there, and he'll make it. Jerome Coleman's got 4 3-point field goals.
And so effortlessly, too, just like a stroll in the park there.
He's got tremendous confidence from outside the arc. Corey and John driving to the basket. Rejection by Rashad Kent. 3-on-1. Ricky Shields lays it up and in.
Well, here's that run I was talking about. 17 now. Rutgers up by 17 points with 3.5 and change to go. And they've got a chance, as I said, really put this thing away before the intermission with a couple of more minutes and a couple of more runouts like that last one.
Corey and John's been very, very quiet in the first half. Melvin Robinson with it, guarded by Coleman, down to McQueen, works on Kent.
And again, he just will not throw that back out. He got fouled that time. But the big fella.
I just thought I felt the building shake a little.
The guy in the front row fixing his hairpiece after that. I guess that was a very physical play. Look at the quickness by Kent. Man, he covered a lot of ground to get in there, and that led to a run out at the other end. And as I said, Rutgers putting a little run together. There's where the big guy goes down, and you had some pictures on your wall. It might be crooked now. St. Peter's was shooting well from the line, though. 7 for 9. And he is mobile, though. He moves his feet. So I think if he threw it out one time and tried to reestablish position there, he might get an easier shot. He's trying to shoot it over players who have a little bit more elevation than he does. And it's a tough shot, but
out of Christ the King, in a program when he was in high school that had Eric Barkley, St. John's, then the NBA, Speedy Claxton, Hofstra, then the Sixers, and Lamar Odom, now with the Clippers via Rhode Island. So Kamal McQueen has played with some great teammates over the years. Timeout on the court, 38-23. Rutgers over St. Peter's. Back with more in a moment. Mike Crispino along with Bob Valvano, Mick Monenhoff here at the rack, where Rutgers has a 38-23 lead over St. Peter's. Big 12-0 run. The game was 7-5 early on, but Rutgers is taking control. Coming up at halftime, special feature on Rashad Kent, big senior center for Rutgers. We'll go around the Big East with Mick Monenhoff, and then We'll be back with the highlights and statistics of this first half. And the number one statistic right now, St. Peter's shooting 24%.
Well, the only thing that's keeping them in the game is, as we mentioned, Rutgers has 9 turnovers. St. Peter's only has 7, and that's rare. St. Peter's usually makes more turnovers, as we said, than they create. But Rutgers shooting well, 50%, well enough, especially some threes by that guy Coleman that has given them a comfortable margin. Now facing his own. Good look.
Shields to Kent. He drew the foul.
Nice pass by Shields. Did a good job throwing over top of the zone. You get those back guys running around. It's hard for them to continue being in front of the post people. That's the back end of it because the ball had come all the way across the court. And the poor back guys have gone from strong side to weak side to strong side. Very difficult to get back around in front that quickly. Good decision by Ricky Shields that time.
Rashad Kent to shoot 2. It's always an adventure. He's got that one to roll in and out. And this is the difficulty for a guy of his size. He goes to the line so much. He's gone over 150 times this year.
Well, that's because obviously the book is out on him. You don't hesitate to hammer him because you got a better shot at that than stopping him from making the layup. He shoots a good percentage from the field. That's what you see the real problem is, Mike. He's missed 4 free throws. Everyone's been different. That's really a problem.
Nice deal down to Thompson that time.
Thompson's having a nice
two-handed
game.
slam. Devon Thompson now has 9 points. So St. Peter's pushing it back within 13. Coleman from way downtown, no good.
That's the only time his decision. I'm not sure right there you needed that one. You want to re-seize control and announce that, hey, we're going to run our offense, get exactly what we want. You can get that one anytime.
Good point. Here's Brown, stopped on the penetration by Sherrod. Corey and John got a good first step. Little baseline.
It's a great fake.
That, sir, is traveling.
But unfortunately, it is an illegal fake. You can't pretend you didn't jump.
Corey and John, junior
nice
out of
pass.
Brooklyn. There's a look at the.
Yeah, good dish and a good finish. As we said, Thompson's been very active.
Bob Leckie, many years, of course, the coach at Bishop Laughlin in Brooklyn.
Built a great program there.
Won a state title in 91-92. Went to the St. Peter's program a year ago. What a pass inside to Rashad Kent. Left-handed goes in.
Well, now you know why they foul him. Because he's got a feathery touch in there. That was left hand to the goal. Nice, soft. Might as well foul him and take your chances.
2 points.
Whoa.
The cutter off balance. Oh, he got it to go. Nate Brown, what a shot.
He is, as I said, does a little bit of everything, and that was some drive there.
Coleman's three-pointer front rimmed. Loose. Sherrod had it for a moment. Nate Brown has it, and there's a foul in the backcourt. So with a minute 31, a couple of quick shots by Jerome Coleman's going to get him a seat next to Gary Waters.
Nice spin. He actually got hit across the face is what took him off balance. Looking at the official. Watch right here. He just, well, actually, no, he didn't. When you see it in replay, unless it happened before that, it looked like he didn't get hit at all. He just may have been anticipating some contact, threw himself off balance. How about that? The St. Peter's team, which is not a great free throw shooting team, has made 8 in a row now, 9 of 11 overall. So good, I didn't even jinx it.
Nate Brown now has 3 points. Well, you can get on a roll as a team. Maybe they're on a roll from the free throw line.
That's a disturbing stat if you're Gary Waters. 12 free throws for St. Peter's, only 8 for your team. And really, whenever Rutgers has had a little bit of patience, they've been able to throw it inside, drive it to the goal. Their offense, the last couple of minutes, has gotten a little out of focus, and it's kept St. Peter's around, I think, a bit here.
And Brown only gets 1 of 2. 7-2 run by St. Peter's, their best effort of the first half, down by 12.
So when they got the ball going side to side, they got any shot they wanted to.
Sherrod in the corner. St. Peter's in the zone. Jason McCoy accenting. Now Sherrod down to Kent, nearly stolen away. Solid defense by Melvin Robinson. 14 on the shot clock.
Well, Mike, if you remember the play where they got it inside, they skipped it over the top of the zone twice, and that's the one where Shields made that bullet pass inside that led to the foul. Rutgers got to try and skip it a little bit. Spread that defense out.
Sherrod, what a drive, and he converts it. Mike Sherrod's had 8 first half points.
That was a nice drive right through the gut of the zone. Tough shot.
42-28, final minute of the first half. Nate Brown guarded by Sherrod. Hit it way downtown. one. It's good for 3.
Well, now the confidence starts to pick up a little bit.
That is the first 3-point field goal of the night for St. Peter's, and it's an 11-point game.
Well, that may be a blessing in disguise for St. Peter's, because they'll get the ball back now and they can play for one shot. We will have to see. You know, they're certainly not necessarily what you try and do, because Wiggins' a pretty good free throw shooter. Here's the good drive. As we said, not an easy shot, because he'd taken the ball all the way from the left side of the goal to almost the right block and shot an off-balance one over a bigger player. But it was a good, strong take by Shrod. And as we said, whenever Rutgers has had any kind of patience against his own, even though that was not a great possession, they've gotten pretty much any kind of inside shot they've wanted to.
I think in a game like this, though, it is difficult to be patient, because you see in the first 5 to 10 minutes that you have a superiority physically, and it gets maybe it comes too easy early on.
Well, that is tough. You're right. It's as we said, you feel like you can get a decent shot pretty much anytime you want to, but the other side is you really have a 17. Remember, Rutgers had a 17-point lead here, and has let St. Peter's crawl back a little bit, get a little sniff at least of making this thing competitive.
Joel Wiggin has both. And the freshman's got his first 2 points of the night, 44-31, and St. Peter's will play for the last shot. Just a fraction of a second difference, shot clock, game clock. Perimeter down low to McQueen, taken away by Kent, and now Rutgers will have an opportunity to expand on their lead.
That's what 4 and 18 teams do, unfortunately, Mike. They hit a 3, then they fouled, which I thought might be lucky for them, and then they turn it over and they give up an open layup, which is an air ball. Wow, that was a comedy of errors right there.
And another steal. They won't get a shot off, and that will end the first half. Here at Rutgers, with the Scarlet Knights leading 44-31. They did have a 19-point lead at one point off an 18-1 run here on their home court, the Rack. Let's hear from Mick Monenhoff standing by with Gary Waters.
All right, Coach, did things get a little too helter-skelter at the end of that first half for you?
Well, I mean, you know, we should have ended it stronger than what I expected, but, you know, these things happen in this time of the season.
Absolutely. Now, in the second half, as you take a look at, you know, what you have before you, what are you going to really try to focus on here in the second half? It's a great game to try to test things out or fine-tune what you have going on.
Well, we got to work on getting inside against the zone. That's number one. And number two, we got to take care of the basketball. We turned the ball over too many times against that team and for no reason.
All right, Coach Waters, thank you.
Okay.
Gary Waters, as his team leads it 44-31 over St. Peter's here at halftime. Stay with us.
Hungry?
It's halftime at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center at Rutgers, with the Scarlet Knights leading St. Peter's 44-31. Hi, everybody. I'm Mick Monenhoff. Thanks again for joining me here at halftime. Well, Rutgers this year, one of the big surprise teams in the Big East. And really no surprise has been the play of Rashad Kent. He's the guy who's been leading the way.
At 6'6" and 275 pounds, Rashad Kent is having an outstanding season. The leading returning rebounder in the conference has added the scoring touch this year, and he's been averaging about a double-double. So how's he done it?
I can't answer that question. I guess I would I leave that up to God. You know, I just go out and just try to be an energy player, just try to give my team, you know, the energy that they need to compete at this level, and to try to be an example for them. And through that, I end up averaging a double-double. You know, I think that's my forte, is rebounding, and you know, 10 points might come along with it. Some nights it doesn't, but most of the time it does.
Kent's always been able to rebound. In fact, he was 26th in the country last season.
You know, it's just all about, you know, being quick, you know, being able to explode off the floor, to be able to jump twice before your opponent jumps once. You know, just being able to follow the path of the ball, and, you know, to just never quit on it. Then that's how you become a good rebounder.
But head coach Gary Waters says Kent brings more than rebounding to the Scarlet Knights.
A great deal, especially with this team. He's a leader of the team and directs the players and get them in the direction to be successful. You know, in our attack, he's in my estimation, one of the better post defenders in the country. He's a presence for us inside on offense and posting up, and obviously he's one of the better rebounders in the country. So you get all those good things in one individual.
And Kent feels his new coach has elevated his play. So how has Coach Waters helped him?
You know, just being a father, you know, being a friend to me, and you know, making sure that I'm okay mentally, and you know, he doesn't have to worry about me physically, but as far as my mental state of mind, making sure I'm prepared to go out and practice, and prepared to go out and play a game, and just prepare for any type of life situation. You know, that's really helped me, and it's helped, you know, me as far as, you know, wanting to continue to get back to play at the level of play that I used to play at.
That's Rashad Kent. You heard Coach Waters say going into the locker room, expect the ball to go down low to Kent more in the second half. Once again, 44-31 here at halftime. Rutgers over St. Peter's. We'll come back with more of our halftime festivities in just a moment.
In the nation.
Back at Rutgers at halftime, 44-31. The Scarlet Knights over the Peacocks. Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano returning, and this one could have gotten out of hand, Bob, because, I mean, they were down 19. This St. Peter's team, they shot 2 of 18. Something happened. They turned it around, went 8 of 14 to finish pretty strong.
You know, one of the things we didn't really take into account to start it, Mike, is this is a big game for St. Peter's. And put the record aside, you come in here and play Rutgers, a Big East school in this building. Guys are a little jacked up at the beginning. They missed some bunnies early, and they got their shooting touch and managed to hang around a bit down the stretch. In fact, they shot pretty well the last half of the first half.
All right, a look at the highlights, and there have been some good ones for the Scarlet Knights, especially from long range.
Oh, so confident. We talked about that at the start. Off the pass by Coleman. Then when St. Peter's went to the zone, this is the zone right here, he still uses a ball screen at about 5 feet behind the arc. Knocks down that 3. But St. Peter's got some answers of their own offensively out of this guy, Mike. Nice up fake there. Draws the foul, makes the bucket. Devin Thompson, and then again, nice touch around the basket. And he has given them a much-needed offensive boost.
7 of his 9 came in the final 10 minutes of the first half. Thompson with 9, Robinson with 6. Mike Sherrod had a good first half, 8 points for Gary Waters' Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And as he told us at halftime, we've got to take care of the ball better. We got to rebound better. We'll find out if they can do it. We'll return to the rack at halftime. The Scarlet Knights by 13. Back of the rack, along with Bob Valvano, this is Mike Crispino. There's the numbers in the first half. As you can see, St. Peter's couldn't shoot it, but they got to the free throw line, made up some ground there.
Well, and they also, unusual for them, made less turnovers. Actually, by the end of the half, they made 1 more turnover than Rutgers. It was 10-9. But shooting percentage, the big story, as you saw there. But the turnovers almost equal, and the good free throw shooting by St. Peter's. They've been hanging around.
Sherrod's wild shot, short, rebounded by St. Peter's. Bob Leckie was saying, just as he got back to the court, he's looking for more intensity from his team.
Well, he made the point that they made some defensive mistakes, meaning Rutgers, and they have, as you pointed out. How many bunnies did St. Peter's miss? They've gotten easy shot opportunities, and had they made even a handful more of those, this game could be a 3-4 point game.
Nate Brown, who had only 3 points in the first half. Kamal McQueen, power move down low on Kent, in some trouble, lost the ball, kicks it out. Devenish, 3-pointer, rolls in and out, rebounded by Mike Sherrod.
Well, he finally did throw it out, not of his own volition. It was because it was knocked away.
Sherrod wants Dabney, spin move, double team, back outside the Shields, no good.
Nice pass though, in and out. I'd like to see some more of that, really. Not seeing much of that on either side.
Now Robinson hands to Nate Brown, 3-pointer, no good, didn't catch iron. Sherrod running the break, kick out Jerome. Coleman's jumper, that's no good, bounces over the backboard. So both teams shooting poorly to start the second half.
Well, St. Peter's got to take advantage of this. Gary Waters talked. He wanted to see his team come out and I think make a statement these first 5 minutes. Go inside, get some looks, make some defensive stops, get it to a 20-point lead. They've missed. They haven't really done that. St. Peter's is not taking advantage. They can get this thing in single digits. That would be tremendous psychological uplift.
Brown goes right to the basket, missed another layup. It's been that way all night for the Peacocks. He went left-handed with it.
Yeah, he did, surprisingly, from the right side.
3-point range, air ball, rebounded, couldn't get it to go. That was Devon Thompson, and now Shields the other way will draw a foul. So St. Peter's blown opportunities on the offensive end.
Well, they really, Brown had a wide open layup. I think he heard some footprints, and then on that air ball was an easy opportunity for a stick back by Thompson, and they came out again with 2 shots not more than combined 4 feet away with no points. And that's been the story their night, I think.
That has been the story. Is on the line Ricky Shields. He had 7 in the first half. Add another one to that. He's a freshman. Shields averaging 12 a game, so he and Jerome Coleman have been a huge boost to the offense of the Scarlet Knights this year. Taken away by Coleman, running the court. It's 1-on-2. He goes in and then dishes it off to Mike Sherrod, who lost it. 4-on-1. The Peacocks have an advantage. Bounce pass, and they do get the layup to go this time. Regis Devonish has 5.
And they needed that one badly. Back to where they were at the intermission, 13. We'll wait to see who can make the first run of the second half. It has not been inspiring offense either way.
Scarlet Knights finish with Big East conference foes from here on. Rashad Kent thought he got fouled, but he missed everything.
He was dumbfounded there was no call.
Kent steps in to steal it. Ahead to Sherrod. Has a man with him. Took the shot himself. Shields rebounded it.
Good play by Shields. You never want to give up. Assume every shot's going to be missed. That's what they tell you, especially in transition. And he's there for the easy stick back.
Is that what you told your teams?
I told them a lot of things. They always listen, but
I've heard a few coaches tell me that, but just on my particular shot.
You took it personally. You weren't supposed to.
Hey, Brown on the offensive board. Nice play. Brown's got 5.
As we've talked about, he's in the middle of a little bit of everything. Shoots a little bit outside, can drive, makes a follow shot there. And again, St. Peter's hanging around, but not making much headway here.
Had they converted on a few of these breakaway type shots, open shots,
it would certainly be in single digits.
They'd be right in it.
Absolutely.
Jerome Coleman steps back. 10 to shoot. Kent got fouled down low by Kamal McQueen. That's his second of the half for St. Peter's.
Kent works so hard and has such a good understanding as a senior of how to get angles and how to lock you out. It really is such a shame his free throw shooting isn't higher, because he is so good at that. He could put a clinic on with how he gets angles. Look at the good screen there.
Coleman front rims. He's been off now the last couple long-range shots. Kent down low, reverses it.
Oh, that's a nice follow. He did that. Knew we were talking about him. He said, let me see. I'll set a screen. I'll get a rebound. I'll make a reverse layup. You can talk about me some more, because he did a good job there.
Brown slicing through the defense. Missed the shot, and it's off the Scarlet Knights. St. Peter's will have it. You know, a guy like Rashad Kent probably should see a shot doctor. Don't you think?
Trying to get a foul shot transplant. Seriously, when you shoot at like 36%, I half wonder if you wouldn't make more. I'm not being a wise guy when I say this, trying to bank it in. I remember there was a guy when I was a scramble inside here.
And Kent came up with it, lost by St. Peter's, and once again from in close, they can't convert.
St. Peter's aficionados watching this program, I wish I could remember his name. There was a guy when I was in elementary school who banked in his free throws, and he was a very good free throw shooter. And I half wonder if you wouldn't be better off trying to find a spot on the board, just trying to hit it, because it's hard to believe you would make at least 50% that way, but I don't know.
Have you seen Anthony Mason lately shoot free throws?
No.
He stands on his toes, reaches his arm all the way up, and then just lets it go with his wrist. His free throw shooting has improved dramatically.
Well, hey,
you got to try something.
Absolutely. I remember Don Nelson, who had one of the most ridiculous looking free throw styles. It was a very, very good free throw shooter back in the day with the Celtics.
Alazana was fouled that time as he tried to make an inside move on Devin Thompson.
Of course, if he took to Rick Barry, he's convinced if you can't make 70%, you should be shooting underhanded like he did. And hard to argue, he shot 90+%.
Yes, he did. Rutgers by 15. 15:53 remaining. We'll be back to the rack in a moment. Valvano, Nick Monenhoff here at Rutgers.
Got into a heated free throw debate during the commercial break there, Mike. We were talking all sorts of.
We did. Well, now we're going to have to ask Bob Lucky, because he played for the Peacocks.
Know. That's true. It's been about that era, maybe a little bit before him, or while he was there. I'm going to go down right now, Mike. Let me go see. He won't.
Just get back before the end of the
he's not busy.
game, would you? 67, 68, 69. Bob Lucky was part of some very good St. Peter's teams. He's the first alumnus to coach at the school. 3 times they went to the NIT. I remember 67 specifically. They played Walt Frazier in Southern Illinois in the NIT. Lost to them.
It was my brother's NIT team. He and Bob Lloyd finished 3rd in that team.
All right, Rashad Kent gets the ball down low, and now he's got 6 points. Jimmy Valvano, of course, one of the famous alumnus alumni here at Rutgers. So many others.
Mr. Magoo, among others.
James Gandolfini of the Sopranos, among others. Eddie Jordan coaching with the Nets now. Great player here at Rutgers. Paul Robeson. Avery Brooks. A lot of great actors came out of this school. Ali couldn't handle a pass. Here comes Rutgers. They got a 4-on-2. Kent dishing to Sherrod. Banks it, no good. And Ali, that's a goaltend.
Now this is the little bit of a run Gary Waters was looking for. He's equaled their biggest lead at 19. And you see, that's a textbook goaltend right there. Not much difficulty calling that one.
Amir Ali gets Mike Sherrod his 9th and 10th points of the night. So 54-35. Jeff Torborg went to this school too.
Yes, he did. He was there when my brother Jim was there. Exactly right.
McQueen down low, and he just powered it in over Rashad Kent.
That's right. He was there.
He's got 6 points. Torborg, I believe, will be managing the Florida Marlins at some point.
Yes.
If they ever get that together. Wild shot, and it went in. Ricky Shields.
Well, now they're getting inside. You heard Gary Waters talk about that as they went to the locker room at the half. Thought they were settling a little bit too much outside, and they clearly have opportunities to get the ball inside, and they've done a better job of it the last couple of possessions.
Ali nearly had it taken away.
Oh, no.
And that's called a backcourt violation. Apparently,
you've got to secure possession in the front court if it's been deflected. Let's look at the good drive by Shields. Does a nice job avoiding the big fella and shoots an off-balance shot off the window, nice and soft.
David Stern went to Rutgers, the NBA commissioner. One of your favorite actresses, Callista Flockhart. I know you're a big fan of that show.
Sure. That show is not no Ally McBeal. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
You're trying to stump me, aren't you? Here's Jerome Coleman. Wild shot. Didn't get the roll. Queen has the rebound.
Getting inside very easily now.
Long range three. Clangs off the front rim. Loose ball. Mike Sherrod out of the pack. Down to Lamazana for a two-hand jam.
St. Peter's looking a bit discouraged right now. The biggest lead of the day for the Scarlet Knights at 21, and they've seized this one by the throat here, Michael.
58-37, 13.5 remaining. St. Peter's only 4 wins on the season. After a difficult year last year, 4-24. Kent with a rejection. Here comes Ricky Shields.
Rutgers had 8 blocks in the first half alone.
Coleman drew the foul. Corin John is called for it. That's his first. St. Peter's, as I mentioned, a tough year last year, but Bob Leckie got hit with some difficulties. Here's another look at the replay.
Whoa. Yeah, that was, can't say strong presence in there. And then the thing is, Rutgers has done a much better job this half of north-southing it in transition. They are getting it up the floor in a hurry.
Jerome Coleman has his first point of the second half. Well, Bob Leckie had a couple of recruits lined up. As you see, Coleman is the Big East Player of the Week, February 4th. Abdul Rayo ended up going to France to play professionally when he was signed on to play with the Peacocks. And that happened the week before the season started. Mike McKee also counted on, another JC transfer. Decided to hit the workforce instead of play basketball on the college level. So 2 scholarships that Bob Leckie couldn't use for anybody else. Here's Kamal McQueen's shot off target. And that's a setback for any coach when he has his roster pretty well set up.
Well, there's a lot of things about coaching I miss, but recruiting is not one of them for that reason. It's just so difficult.
Drive inside by Devin Thompson. He's got 11 points.
No matter what the level lends problems, but especially at a lower major like St. Peter's, you go through that frequently. Crazy last-minute stuff that's difficult to undo.
And the rebound off the miss by Jerome Coleman, taken back by Ricky Shields, and this looks like a playground game right now. Rashad Kent, two-handed jam. Now he's got 8. Well, that's the thing. When something like that happens that late, you can't recover from
literally nothing you can do, and that's just a killer. And again, to state the obvious, you're not dealing with a Kentucky type situation where, okay, well, I won't have that All-American, I'll try another one out there. You're dealing with a shorter roster in terms of depth. That defection leaves you a much bigger, gaping hole frequently, especially when you're trying to rebuild. As Bob Leckie is. Big hand for Rashad Kent with good reason. He's got, and Jerome Coleman as well. I think we just went at 10 rebounds a moment ago. Whoa, that was a statement by Thompson. What a dunk that was. As a coach, you like to see that. You like to see a guy keep competing. The scoreboard is on. You just keep playing. And that was a finish by Mr. Thompson.
Devin Thompson, JC transfer, came out of the Bronx. He's got 13 now. And that's another thing about a St. Peter's type program, is the pull-up jump goes in.
Nice.
From Joel Wiggin. He's got 4 points. I mean, you have to look to the JCs, the junior colleges, oftentimes. So you can't build 2 and 3 years worth of players to get something together. 64-41. Nate Brown. Corian John, baseline drive, and he stepped on the baseline. It will be Rutgers ball. There's timeout on the court. 11:14 remaining. The Scarlet Knights starting to roll it up, despite this effort by St. Peter's.
Advance out of
Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano back at Rutgers. Mick Monenhoff with us, and we're still trying to find out who's the guy that used to bank free throws
Might have been Cliff
for St.
Anderson.
Peter's.
Might have been. That was a suggestion out of Mick, who came back. Where'd you get that name, Mick? Who told you? Did you talk to
Every writer in the building.
Okay. Hey, we're shooting the rock, boys. Let's take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock. Well, Rutgers has done a pretty good job of knocking them down. St. Peter's still hanging around 31%.
You know, it's tough to make any sign of a comeback. You're shooting in the low 30s, and you're not shooting a lot of threes. Sometimes you get away with that if you're shooting a lot of three-pointers. 33% from the three-point line is like 50%.
That's good.
Inside the arc, but they're not shooting very many threes either.
Kareem Wright has entered the game. Where's number 55? Lamazana fadeaway jump, no good. And Kareem Wright is called for a foul immediately. So the 6'9" junior, Kareem Wright, into the game. And immediately gets a whistle.
Cliff Anderson might be. I don't know. That could be. He was a good player for them. I know this guy didn't miss many free throws.
Would anybody take that chance? Here's the alley-oop. Doesn't go. Kamal McQueen puts it back.
Nice touch by the big fella. Good hands.
And McQueen now has 8 points.
Gary Waters now can give some other guys some playing time, and hopefully they can work on some things against this zone. Good entry pass. Nice kick out.
Ball stripped. Right. Spin move. Hook shot. Got it.
Well, that's, you know, it kind of, again, inadvertently, Wright did one great thing. He threw it back out. It went into the post, one of the few guys we've seen throw it back out. And then on the attempted drive by Wiggin, it got deflected back inside, so it was like playing in and out. And that gave the easy shot to Wright. Made a nice little baby hook.
Nate Brown airballs a bank attempt. Rebounded in the lane. Another shot missed that time by Melvin Robinson. Rutgers has the ball. Mike Sherrod running hard. Nate Brown goes down. Sherrod went to the basket. Missed the layup.
Nice fake. He made a great ball fake.
McQueen ahead of the field. Up fake. Lamazana blocked him. But it ends up in Thompson's hands.
Get a 30 timeout here, I think. Is that what? Yes.
Yeah, it looks like a timeout being called. Devin Thompson credited with the bucket. We'll be back to Rutgers after this. Part of the crowd here at Rutgers tonight as the Scarlet Knights leading St. Peter's out of Jersey City by 21, 66-45. This St. Peter's program, as you look at Gary Waters now, trying to bring respectability back to Rutgers. They've had some down years, haven't been to the NCAA since '91. Has made great strides early on. But St. Peter's, another program out of the MAC, struggled of late, but this was one of the great programs really in this area from 79 to 95. They had a 16-year run. They won 20 games a lot of years, a lot of 19-win seasons, NITs, NCAAs. Lamazana, nice fake, put it up, got fouled, no. Got blocked by Devin Thompson.
Thompson has really, he's continued to work hard, trying to encourage his teammates. Really got to be happy about that. He's kept his game face on here, not letting the score or anything else discourage him. He's put a solid offensive game together, made a good block that time.
Last time St. Peter's went to the NCAA was 94-95 for Ted Fiore, as Kareem Wright's now got 4 points.
Well, he's come in and done a lot of nice things. Nice touch, very active at both ends. This is what you want to see. He's got to take advantage of the opportunity to get some minutes here.
Well, when Rashad Kent graduates, and there's some good defense by Kareem Wright.
Big fella's got to throw that out once in a while. Queen just goes in there and never comes back out.
Lamazana just triggers it. And back comes St. Peter's. It's a free-flowing game, to say the least, right now.
If you liked NBA All-Star basketball, you'd be grooving on this, because they're kind of just going up and down right now, but it's difficult with a 23-point lead.
You know what you notice about that NBA All-Star game? It's not as good as you think it would be.
No,
it really isn't. Now, you think about it. You put the 10 best players in the world on the same court. They try to do things they can't even do.
Well, it goes to show you how much, really, if you like the game, you love the team aspect of it. They can't develop much of a team mentality in a day. Certainly all those guys who come as their #1 options on their team. Great ball.
Lamazana sent it back into the St. Peter's bench.
Sounds like a volleyball spike.
And now he heads off to the bench. Kareem Wright as well. Kareem Wright, some very effective minutes, had 4 points.
Oh. 11 Rutgers blocks, 8 in the first half alone. So that might explain some of the misses inside by St. Peter's. They're probably not just looking at the rim when they get in there.
Probably a little intimidated. But even the pros, when they're left alone to their own devices, cannot do some of the things they think they can do. It is a team game, and you're right, it's so difficult to develop any kind of cohesion. They go to the alley-oop, and that time left-handed. Melvin Robinson had no shot.
Well, you know, it's the hardest thing to teach guys. So many coaches, we would run a variation on that or something like it. Tell guys, if you don't have the dunk, catch it. You're 2 feet from the basket. Just go up and catch it and come down with it. But they feel like unless they can put it in one motion, somehow, I don't know, the style points, like from the diving judge, it counts 2 points just the same.
That's a nice jump shot from Jerome Coleman off a screen. Coleman's first basket of the second half.
And his first 2-point field goal of the game. The others were all threes early on.
Strong drive and a difficult shot that time by Melvin Robinson. Robinson's got 8. Notre Dame comes into the rack later this week. Rutgers at 5-5 in the conference, and that pass is deflected loose, picked up by St. Peter's.
Well, Notre Dame's been hot of late, though. That'll be a good test both ways.
Well, they just played them in South Bend, and Notre Dame beat up on Rutgers pretty badly. Brown, all thrown away. Now it comes down to McQueen. Cutter, Robinson banks it up, no good.
Well, Big Fella made a good pass that time. He wasn't in the low post per se, kind of in the mid post area, and so he didn't take it to the hole and wound up making a nice pass to the cutting Robinson, who drew the foul.
So Melvin Robinson, the junior, will go to the line. He's a first-team All-City player in New York in 1998 at Cardozo. So many great players come out of the city, and that should be something that Gary Waters can take advantage of. It gets so much more difficult to recruit here in the East. Villanova's Jay Wright has a lot of inroads already. Mike Jarvis at St. John's. Now you have Gary Waters here.
Well, Jay's a good example of what you talked about. I was an assistant at Hofstra at one time, and I'll be candid. We tried, but we did not get the New York City kids to the extent Jay Wright did. Jay went into the city and just started bringing them out by the boatload and did a terrific job. And then you supplement it, obviously, with kids from other parts. But, you know, it's like they asked Willie Sutton why you rob the banks. It's where the money is. You got to go where the players are. And that's you certainly have a wealth of them in a lot of different directions from here.
We'll be back in just a moment. Rutgers leading by 21. It's time for the BMW Ultimate Drive of the game.
Well, you see this one we talked about earlier. Why it's a difficult shot is because he starts on the left side, goes all the way to the right, Sherrod, and has to shoot it over the big guy. That's a very strong move and a great finish. And we have seen today how important have finishes been in this game, because St. Peter's could have finished half of the plays around the basket. This game's probably in single digits, but Rutgers has done a much better job of it. And Sherrod has certainly been one of the leaders.
Rutgers, Mike Sherrod, 10 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 4 assists. He went to Paul Robeson in Brooklyn, graduate of Rutgers University, Paul Robeson. So now with 7:25 remaining, The Scarlet Knights up by 21. St. Peter's had done a nice job away from home. They hadn't won a game at home this year, but they won a couple on the road recently and had high hopes coming into this building. Did not get off to a good start.
2 wins on the road, 2 wins on neutral courts, none at home, which is most unusual.
Rashad Kent picks it up, goes to Akzani. Turnaround jump is front rimmed. Rebounded by Nate Brown, and St. Peter's has numbers. 3-on-2. The pass, the block, and what a finish by Devin Thompson. And what a game for him, 17 points.
My goodness, that one got some style points. That was with authority.
Jerome Coleman triggers it. He's been short on everything in the second half. Rashad Kent, though, power move, two-hand dunk.
I think he took Thompson's dunk personally. He responded with a powerful move of his own. You know, we talked about 10 points, 11 rebounds for Kent, by the way. St. Peter's only played 6 home games all year. It's very, very difficult to build a program when you only have 6 home games the whole season.
I'm guessing they're going to finish up at home quite a bit. You can see their schedule. Well, they've got Siena, Loyola, and Fairfield. 3 of their last 4 at home. The only other away game is Marist for them.
Still only 9 home games all year. Rick Pitino had 9 home games by lunch, I think, back in November.
Long shot just beat the shot clock. 72-51. Well, that's how you have to have a favorable schedule if you hope to get off to a good start. That's what most college coaches who go to the tournament every year try to build into their scenario.
Well, the other thing, it's one of those things people, unless you coach, don't really appreciate is how many factors go into building a program, and that's one of them. You got to have the money for guarantees or some way to get people in your building. Not easy to do. Look at that slam with authority there, and then Mr. Kent, as I said, took it personally and said, "I can do that." Dunk at each end.
Yes, he can. I was talking to Mike Bray of Notre Dame not too long ago. He was saying that one of the difficulties for his team early on is they didn't play a lot of home games. They were on the road, it seemed like, early.
Yep.
Played 3 or 4 times at the Joyce Center, and now it's going to pay off because they're going to have a favorable schedule down the stretch, but it's hard to get off to a good start when you're on the road so much.
Well, if you have an established program, sometimes you want to do that. Nice dish by Brown. So, I'm sorry, Mike, I was just going to finish the point. As a foul inside, McQueen will go to the line. Sometimes you do that if you got a good team because you want to test them early. You want to toughen them up. You want to build your. But if you're trying to build a little confidence, you got to learn how to win. And it's very difficult to do that when you are on the road every other night early in the year. And frequently, if you're playing games where to get guarantees, it means you're overmatched and makes it very, very difficult. I like how that's 6'6", listed at 320 pounds. Is there some skepticism on the part of our graphics people?
I don't know. I don't know. He looks about 320 to me.
It's like, all right, this is what they gave us, so we'll put it in the computer, but...
Well, yeah, I guess you can't go any bigger than that because then you
how big do they think? 320 is a pretty big fella.
I don't even know. Now that I'm looking at him, I think he's about 315. I don't think he's 320.
One of your past jobs at the carnival, you got giving out Cupid dolls, guessing people's weights?
Yes, that's right.
Well, you must have been good at it.
I was a haberdasher at one point in my career. Now, there's a word you would enjoy. I know you're a wordsmith.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's very good. Mike Crispino, this is your life here on game tonight.
Monday night Big East basketball.
Big East basketball.
Lamazana with a nice jump shot.
Jack Benny's father was a haberdasher, by the way. Just going to throw that out there.
I feel much better now.
Well, you're in good company.
You know, I don't know how many haberdashers there really are anymore.
Not enough, if you think about it, for my money.
Need more of those. Kind of like saxophone players, haberdashers. You need more of those.
That's a leap, but...
All right, here comes Coleman. Nice dish to Sherrod, lost it on the way up. It's showtime with 4:20 left. Come on, McQueen lays it up.
Big fella got his 12th point. We are interesting to see how long Gary Waters will go with Coleman, and still got Kent in there.
20-point game. Kent inside, lost it for the moment, couldn't get it to go. This might qualify for extended garbage time, as some would say. Come on, McQueen, up faking, off balance, count the bucket.
The big fella listed at 320, going hard to his left. Nice pass by Brown. You know, Brown, other than one pass early in the second half that looked a little casual, you can see why he's so valuable to this team. Look at the pass. Brown made the nice pass, doesn't get a charge when he got in the lane. He does a lot of little things well, Brown, and you can see that why he's, as we said, the only guy to have started all 22 games for the St. Peter's team. As Rashad Kent heads to the Scarlet Knight bench, gets a big hand from the crowd.
10 points for him, and McQueen completes a 3-point play. So Rashad Kent, 15 points. St. Peter's down 17. Let's take a look at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Good perimeter passing against the zone, and then Shields with the good, strong baseline move, and then got himself on balance. So when he shot it over the big guy, McQueen, didn't get it blocked and also didn't pick up a charge. Good finish by Shields, who, as you see, put some nice numbers up today. 13 points with 4 assists.
Ricky Shields, one of the incoming freshmen that has helped Rutgers move out to a 14-8 record.
Well, I think that first recruiting year is so important. You have a lot of momentum. People give you the benefit of the doubt. I think Rutgers signed one early, I believe, and we'll see what happens in the late signing period. 1-3-1 zone here by St. Peter's, different look. And
well, one thing that Jerome Coleman said when he came here, and again, he's a JC transfer, and a steal by St. Peter's. Ball ends up in the Rutgers bench. Wow, low scoring affair in Hartford tonight, 46-40.
Used the two-hand set shot tonight? What is that?
They used that bank shot on the free throw you were talking about. Everyone had to use that.
Well, you know what, Coach, you win 8-7, 108, 107. You don't care. Jim Calhoun absolutely will take that one.
Yeah, they just played a game at Madison Square Garden on the weekend. It was a wild affair. They held St. John's to 30% shooting. Long three-pointer for Ricky Shields out of the corner. They lost the game when they let St. John's go to the line 51 times. So I'm sure he was preaching defense.
And not fouling.
Exactly.
Well, Shields has given him a solid game tonight. Got a hand on that pass.
Corner jump, rebound, Thompson, and he got fouled from behind. Devin Thompson's had a good night tonight for St. Peter's. He's been active
and competitive. That's what you like. When you're trying to build a program, you got to find 5 guys who are going to be willing to compete every night regardless. And he has. Look at this rebound. Gets it strong. Gets hammered in the back by Wright. And he has put a solid game together. And some spectacular plays. That dunk tonight, 17.7 rebounds already. As we mentioned, that dunk was on the follow. One of the more spectacular plays of the evening.
Thompson's got the first, so 18 points for him. And, you know, he only played 1 year in high school. Went to school in St. Petersburg. So just 1 year of high school ball for Devin Thompson. Boca Ciega. And a buzzer went off inadvertently.
It's the buzzer they used to indicate when guys played in St. Petersburg. They use that once a night.
Is that right?
It's the only guy. That's why it's the only guy I've used it for tonight.
You are a fountain of information.
Or misinformation. I think I made that one up. But
no, it's all reality with you, as far as I know.
The old saying, half of what I tell you is, you know what, the problem is figuring out which half. So. Thompson, good free throw touch as well. He has been a very bright spot for St. Peter's tonight.
He's a junior, so Bob Leckie will have him back next year. Jerome Coleman's been trying from there for a while in the second half, and he finally gets the 3 to go down. That's his 5th of the game. 80-59. Devonish hands to Nate Brown. Try to get it off, couldn't get it off. In the corner, high arcing rainbow 3-pointer that didn't catch anything. And the Rutgers fans informing the shooter Regis Devonish that in fact was an air ball. Just in case you didn't know. St. Peter's has made just 1 3-pointer tonight and 14 tries. Coleman got that range, but he front rims it. Jerome Coleman's shooting percentage dropping. He had a great first half. Nate Brown tries it the other way. It rolls in and out.
Even on that play, Thompson got a hand on the rebound, tried to keep it alive on the offensive glass. I was wondering when Gary Waters might make some changes. He calls a timeout. Let's see if he'll clear the bench with a sizable lead and under 2 minutes to go here. It's not a matter of running the score. It's just a matter of got some Big East games coming up. You got to keep guys healthy.
Jerome Coleman has been hot from the outside in the first half, especially 5 3-pointers on the night. He's got some good range.
When he gets it in a rhythm too, it's just a sweet looking shot. Made it off the dribble early as well. But that's watching the last 2 off of a pass. Gets himself squared away. Very tough. Here's the one off the dribble.
So Coleman's got 5 threes. Rutgers has 7 of 18.
And Coleman will come out, and we will get some wholesale. I think any time more than 3 is wholesale.
That's
substitutions.
Wholesale?
I think.
Okay.
Well, you're a haberdasher. You know that.
That works in retail too, you know.
I think so.
3 of 3 for something. That's wholesale, almost. Connor Fox, the senior, wears number 15. He's in the game. First action for him. Ricky Shields, long range 3, back rimmed, rebounded, back outside it comes to Joel Wiggin. And there's another timeout, this time a 30-second rather, and they're going to have, now here's the wholesale substitution you were talking about.
Yep, absolutely.
Bring him on. Mitch Garrett, a sophomore, he wears number 10, he'll check in. Let's look at this schedule now. They got Notre Dame at home, Miami at home. Chance to make some real progress there against 2 quality teams, and then Pittsburgh on the road.
Well, they have been very good. I've had a handful of their games already this year. I've been very impressed by them. Ben Howland's done some job. You got a birthday boy in the house? Is that what my understanding
Mitch Garrett, he's 20.
Oh.
His mom letting everyone know he's 20 now. Come on now.
Very nice.
So he gets to handle it a little bit.
I don't think they're letting him handle it just because it's his birthday. I think it's his job.
He's the point guard.
There you go.
He got a jump shot. It's front rimmed. Missed that time by Mike Thompson. Fight for it. Here comes St. Peter's. Final minute of the game. They've been trying from outside. They just have not been able to get it to go. 1 of 15. Regis Devonish has been shut out from behind the arc. Has just 5 points. Sean Baptiste checks in. He wears number 33. Sloan Baptiste is a sophomore, 6'3", 175. Kareem Wright will sit down.
Kareem Wright gave him some good minutes tonight. Gary Waters has to be pleased. Very active.
Never know, that could come in handy. The shot by Connor Fox is blocked by Victor Torbio, who has just checked in for St. Peter's. Jump shot finally goes down for Devonish. If at first you don't succeed.
Yeah, he kind of hoisted a few up here in the last minute or so. Whoa, that's
everyone's going to try. That's a bank shot.
Here we go. In honor of my foul shooting comments earlier. Tried to go window there.
Justin Diasecki took that one. He's a sophomore for the Scarlet Knights.
Nice pass.
Amir Ali knocks it down. His first basket.
I like when guys pass the ball late in games that are already decided. Shows a great sense of team there. It was a nice pass.
Coach. The players, they want to just shoot it.
Play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Scoreboard's on.
Final seconds ticking off. Rutgers will win it 80-63 unless something happens right here at the buzzer. It does not. So the Scarlet Knights take care of their regional rival.
Take care of business is just the way I thought you were going to say it, and that's just what they did. Very workmanlike, got the job done, never really threatened, and Gary Waters gets a win, obviously, that he needs to keep the mindset that this is home court advantage.
They're 12-1 at the rack. The final again, 80-63. We'll have some post-game comments. That's coming up in just a moment. You're watching Big East basketball.
How would you like to lose that big belly and save big?
Mike Crispino, Bob Valvano back at Rutgers. The Scarlet Knights go to 15-7. Take care of their last non-conference foe on the schedule. A final of 80-63, led by Jerome Coleman's 21 points. 6 of 17 on the night. He had 5 3-pointers, and he's standing by. Down with Mick Monenhoff. Mick?
All right, thanks very much. First off, head coach Gary Waters is going to join us. And, Coach, tonight you did get that double-double inside, and were you pleased enough to get that ball down low the way you wanted it in the second half?
A little bit more, because that's what I think we could do. We could pound them inside, and just staying outside and just shooting it, you're not going to get anywhere. So that's one of the things I was hoping that we get it inside, and we did a better job.
Early on, your guards carried you, and it's kind of been that way most of the season with pretty good effort out front.
Oh yeah, our guards, they shoot it and they defend it, and when they're playing at their best, we're very good.
Also, as you take a look ahead now, I know you got 2 home games coming up. Finish up with 6 games in the Big East, so now it's down the stretch time. Down the stretch.
We got 6 games, and we got 3 of them at home, 3 on the road. We got to take care of our serve. That's all it's all about.
When all is said and done, though, you look ahead now. I know Notre Dame next on the list. There's a team that knocked you off last time out, so revenge becomes a factor.
Yeah, they're a good team. Actually, they're the hottest team in the Big East right now. I mean, they just won at Georgetown, and I mean, they're a pretty good basketball team. So we're going to have to play our very best to have a chance against them on Thursday.
Finally, what do you think of the effort from Mr. Jerome Coleman tonight?
Did a very good job. He's our man. When Jerome's hitting, we're in good shape.
All right, Coach. Thanks very much.
Okay.
Jerome Coleman steps on in, and Jerome, a coach told me a while back, the thing with junior college players is you got to worry about their defense. Defense looks to be the furthest thing from your mind. You're really filling it up.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've been an offensive player all my life, and I came here, and he said that's the first thing he preaches, defense. So I knew I had to step my defense up.
But yet you were able to knock him down from outside the night as you ended up with 5 threes in this ball game.
Yeah, I was feeling good a little bit all day today and warm-ups and everything. I was just concentrated, and luckily they would fall for me today.
When you think about what happens, though, in the Big East play, do you think you'd be able to step in and really, take the bull by the horns, run the show out front, be the designated shooter, so to speak?
I wouldn't say so-called shooter. I would say designated scorer. Yeah, I never thought the Big East was any different than any other place. So that's why I came here. I know they play physical, and that's what I like to do.
Also, like we said, you were able to step up when you needed to, either inside the line or outside, and knock them down.
Yeah, it really don't make a difference. I mean, I just like shooting the ball. I like scoring. I feel comfortable doing things in the offensive end and the defensive end. So, I mean, I feel good all over today.
Also, another look. If you take a look here, you see nailing it from the outside. Do you get the green light? When you feel it, do you have the green light to go ahead?
I think so. He gives everybody. It's not just me, no personal thing. He gives it to everybody. Anybody feeling it, he let you ride it out.
What's it going to take now for Rutgers to make that big push coming down the stretch?
We got to stay together. We got to play hard. We got to play way better than we played today, and we got to pick it up on the defensive end, and we'll be okay.
Jerome, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Jerome Coleman.
This game has been brought to you by BMW. Test drive the ultimate driving machine at your local BMW center. ConAgra Foods. We set America's table. All right, we're back here at Rutgers, and as you heard Jerome Coleman say, he gets the green light. Coach says, if you're our guy that can shoot, I want you shooting anyway. And maybe some of the shots tonight were a little ill-advised, but in a game like this, maybe you take those kind of chances.
Well, 2 things. First, make no mistake that really Gary Waters has made the mindset of this team defense first, though, and that's loud and clear. And I think that would be the one thing he's probably a little bit disappointed with tonight, because St. Peter's got a lot of easy looks. We made that point repeatedly through the telecast that they had a lot of looks inside, just didn't get them to go. But offensively, his team played unselfishly. They played hard. And when Coleman shoots the ball like that, it does set a mindset, though, of confidence about this team. That's what I like about it, is there's a feeling that no matter who we're playing against, we're going to get looks, we're going to get our points. And that feeds the defense, because your mindset is, well, we don't have to worry about scoring. We'll get our points. Let's just get the job done defensively. Good things will happen for us. So you can't overstate the role that he's had with this team. And Kent, much the same way. You know you're going to have an inside presence. You know Coleman's going to give you some points. Let's just rally around each other, play defense, pass the ball, and good things will happen.
Yeah, Coleman is a little bit like Iverson, I think, at the Sixers. He's going to shoot the ball 20, 25 times, but it does give you confidence that he's a guy that can make baskets, even if he doesn't shoot great that night. And that relieves a little pressure from the other guys to produce offense.
Well, it does, because what it also does, in addition to the simple fact that, as you say, he's going to get his points, when he really gets it going, he's not a selfish player. He just is aware he's got to take a lot of shots. But you saw him move the ball tonight, and he gets other guys involved. And when you do that, as I said, it's like hitting in baseball. It just kind of feeds. One guy gets a couple of hits, it seems like everybody starts to hit. He makes a couple of shots. Now he starts moving the ball around, and we saw other people step up. Sherrod stepped up. Kent, of course, has been an offensive force for much of the year. I think that you can't overstate when you got one guy who really drives the offensive machine. Doesn't necessarily mean he's a hogging the ball or being a selfish player, but it really does have to go through him.
All right, so scoring is contagious, shooting is contagious, offense is contagious, and playing here at the rack and winning, that's contagious.
You're tell me you were contagious.
No, I'm not. I'm not. Don't worry.
They're
12-1 here. Everything's okay. They're 12-1 here at the rack, 6-5 in the conference, 15-8. And as Gary Waters mentioned, Notre Dame coming up, and it's 6 games to tournament time. That's Big East tournament time for this Rutgers Scarlet Knights team. Now, Connecticut winning tonight, still maintaining their lead in the East Division. A division's meaningless, really, but it comes down to at least a 500 record in conference if Rutgers hopes to have a chance, I think, at an NCAA bid.
Yeah, it's a very strong conference, with the exception of the last place teams on both sides. You never get a night off, Mike. It's a lot of balance in this league.
So the Scarlet Knights take care of Jersey City's St. Peter's 80-63 tonight here at the Lewis Brown Athletics Center. Jerome Coleman led the way with 21 points. For my partner Bob Valvano, I'm Mike Crispino. Thanks for joining us. You've been watching ESPN.